Some people don't follow fashion trends, even when they easily could. They choose simple clothes, comfortable clothes, predictable clothes, and they keep choosing them repeatedly, which raises an interesting question. Why do some people consistently choose comfort, even when fashion offers more attention? Because choosing comfort over fashion is often not just a style decision. It can reflect how a person relates to social pressure. Every day people make small appearance decisions. What looks impressive? What looks trendy? What looks socially approved? Fashion constantly changes, and keeping up with it requires attention. Attention to what others are wearing, attention to what is currently popular, attention to how one is perceived. For some people, this process feels interesting. For others, it feels unnecessary. People who consistently choose comfort often describe a simple internal reasoning. If something feels good, why replace it with something less comfortable? Just because it is currently popular. And this is where the psychology becomes revealing, because this choice quietly shows how strongly someone values external validation. Fashion trends often change quickly. Comfort preferences usually remain stable. Trend-driven decisions often respond to outside influence. Comfort-driven decisions often respond to inside signals. Some personalities naturally prioritize internal signals more strongly, not because they reject fashion, but because they do not depend on it. Here is something that many people may disagree with. People who consistently choose comfort over fashion may actually feel less urgency to impress strangers, not because they do not care, but because they do not feel constant pressure to prove identity through appearance. For some individuals, identity feels internally stable. For others, identity feels externally reinforced. Fashion often works as a social language. It communicates belonging. It communicates awareness. It communicates participation. But comfort communicates something different. It communicates self-permission, permission to feel relaxed, permission to move freely, permission to exist without continuous adjustment. And interestingly, people who choose comfort repeatedly often describe feeling mentally clearer, because fewer small irritations interrupt attention. Small discomforts accumulate silently. Tight collars, rigid fabrics, restrictive fits, uncomfortable materials. Each small irritation demands micro-attention, and micro-attention consumes mental energy. When these interruptions disappear, thinking becomes smoother, which may explain why many comfort-oriented individuals report feeling more productive, more focused, more mentally calm. This does not mean fashion-focused people are uncomfortable. It simply means different personalities prioritize different signals. Some personalities enjoy visual expression. Some personalities enjoy sensory ease. Both are valid. But the difference becomes interesting when the preference becomes consistent. Consistency often indicates identity alignment. One controversial observation is this: people who strongly rely on fashion trends may sometimes feel subtle anxiety about social perception, because trends change and social standards shift, which means approval is never fully stable. But comfort preferences rarely depend on social updates. Comfort remains predictable. Predictability often creates psychological safety, and psychological safety reduces decision fatigue. Imagine needing to constantly evaluate whether your appearance is up to date, whether your outfit communicates the right signal, whether your clothing fits current expectation. This constant evaluation can quietly consume cognitive resources. Some people enjoy this process. Others prefer simplicity. Simplicity reduces decision pressure. Reduced decision pressure increases mental availability, which might explain why some highly focused individuals adopt consistent, comfortable clothing patterns, not as fashion rejection, but as cognitive efficiency. Another interesting aspect appears in long-term behavior patterns. People who consistently choose comfort often maintain similar preferences for years, while trend-driven preferences often evolve quickly. This does not mean one approach is better, but it does reveal different psychological orientations. Some personalities enjoy adapting. Some personalities enjoy stabilizing. Adaptation brings novelty. Stability brings clarity, and clarity can feel peaceful. There is also a subtle identity signal hidden here. Choosing comfort repeatedly may indicate a reduced need for external reinforcement, when identity feels internally sufficient. External signals become optional. Fashion can still be appreciated, but it does not become necessary, which creates a unique form of independence. Independence not from society, but from constant comparison. Comparison often creates invisible pressure. Pressure creates tension. Tension reduces comfort, which creates an interesting loop. The more someone seeks comfort, the less they may feel influenced by comparison, and the less comparison influences decisions, the more stable preferences become. Stable preferences create recognizable personal patterns. Patterns create identity familiarity, and identity familiarity often increases confidence. Confidence does not always require visual impact. Sometimes confidence appears as consistency. Consistency signals certainty. Certainty reduces hesitation. Reduced hesitation often looks like calm behavior. Calm behavior often appears confident, even when the clothing itself looks simple. Some people interpret simple clothing as lack of effort, but sometimes simplicity represents clarity. Clarity about what actually matters to the individual. Clarity reduces internal conflict. Reduced conflict increases psychological comfort. Comfort improves emotional regulation. Emotional regulation improves decision quality, which might explain why some individuals repeatedly choose comfort without feeling socially disadvantaged. Because their internal evaluation criteria differ, they may evaluate experience instead of impression. Experience lasts longer than impression. Impression depends on observer reaction. Experience depends on personal perception. When perception prioritizes comfort, appearance pressure often reduces, which can feel liberating. If you like exploring more about human behavior, hit like and subscribe for more psychology insights. Another unexpected pattern appears in social environments. People who consistently choose comfort often attract curiosity, because non-reactive behavior appears unusual in highly reactive environments. When most individuals adapt quickly to social signals, stable preference stands out, not loudly, but subtly. Subtle difference often creates intrigue. Intrigue creates memorability, which means comfort-oriented individuals may still create social impact without actively attempting to create it, because authenticity often attracts attention differently than performance. Performance seeks approval. Authenticity often receives respect. Respect feels different than approval. Approval can change quickly. Respect often lasts longer, which makes comfort preference surprisingly compatible with quiet confidence. And quiet confidence can sometimes appear more stable than trend-driven expression. Interestingly, people who prioritize comfort in clothing often prioritize comfort in other life structures: work environment, daily routine, personal space, time management, decision style. We will explore those patterns in upcoming videos, because clothing choices often reflect broader psychological preferences. Do you personally believe comfort is more important than fashion? Or do you believe appearance should come first? Write comfort or fashion in the comments. Your answer might reveal more than you expect.